Hi, welcome to the channel. Big thanks for clicking on this video. In today's video, we're going to look at my Crivet 2-man $9.99 camping tent and whether I can make some improvements to it just using the stuff I already own. So as you'll be aware, I've done 3 videos on this tent now. The first one was just a quick look around on a nice sunny hill. The second one was a bit of a rain test in this garden, a day and night of rain to see if it was still dry. It was almost okay, but there was a couple of small leaks in through the bottom seals. And then the third test, I took it up to the Brecon Beacons, camped at about 470 metres with a bit of wind and a bit of weather, and it did absolutely fine, to be honest. I was a little bit nervous in it, but it did absolutely fine. But I've had a lot of comments on those videos, people saying, oh, if you put a tarp over the top it'd be fine, or other things like that. So I thought, well, what improvements could I make to this tent just using the stuff I already own? So my first idea was to utilise this Saunders Fellpine tent, because I figured, what if I could fit the Crivet tent inside this and it becomes like a glorified tarp over the top of it. So that's why the Fellpine is here. So we'll have a quick look now to see what I actually managed to achieve. So let's open it up. And we'll open up nice and wide. So there we have it. I've managed to put the Lidl tent inside as basically an inner. Now, there's a couple of small issues. One, it doesn't fit inside with the main fiberglass pole on. So what we've got is we've got the A-frame at the front, and then we've just got, it's got a tying out point on the little tent, which is perfectly tied against this pole here. And at the other end, I've just used the central guying out point to tie it to the point where the normal inner for this tent would hang from. Then I've just pegged out the inner here. It actually fits pretty well. Now, it's not perfect because obviously without that central pole you're losing a bit of height as the tent goes back, but it's perfectly usable. So let's have a bit of a closer look around and see how usable it is. So there's definitely some material sag, and there's definitely an issue with some, well, getting in the door for one, because the pole is right in the middle and there's not much you can do about that. And obviously the sagging material there is a bit worse in some places. I might be able to get that tighter if I adjusted the guying out point again, so you could probably get a little bit tighter, but this is just a sort of a proof of concept. So yeah, it does actually work. So I've got the 2 points, the yellow things there. You can see that's where the vents are normally held on the little tent. So I've got them coming out just to give it a bit more tension at the back of the tent. So it's perfectly usable inside, but you're probably going to get a bit of condensation, and obviously any condensation is going to be slapping you in the face a little bit at times, I imagine. So it's certainly given the tent a really nice porch area, really livable, nice high porch, and you've got good separation from the inner and the outer, and you can see up here that you've got the material sagging somewhat, but it's not horrendous. I think if you wiggle the pole around, you can probably get the whole thing a little bit tauter as well. So as a first attempt, I think it's a workable option, and I think there's a more serious side in that the inner to this tent is pretty ancient, and it's always interesting when you've got a freestanding outer like this, whether at some point you want to try and replace it with something different. Obviously you could just go for the full ground sheet and bivvy bag inside there. You've got absolutely loads of room to move around. The 2 poles are separated by quite some distance. You've got plenty of space in there. But actually, if the inner was unusable from this tent, I think you could adjust this one to make it fit quite well. You've only got to apply a little bit of sewing to get the tension in the top of the tent and pull it out at the sides, and you'd have a perfectly functional inner tent for this Saunders tent for $9.99. So it is an interesting little thing, and yeah, let me know what you think of this idea, and I'm going to try something different with the tarp. This is the second option. This is the Nordisk Voss Diamond SI tarp. So it retails for about £120. I got it for about £52 in a really good sale. So this is the first time I've used it. As you can see, it actually works pretty well with this tent. Quite a generous porch, plenty of space in it. Obviously it doesn't cover the back of the tent, but you could move the whole thing backwards, have less of a porch, and you can actually cover the entire tent, so it would be pretty waterproof. Obviously I've not pegged it out particularly well, but I'm really impressed with the tarp so far. It's the first time I've ever used it, first time I've ever used any kind of tarp. But the good thing with the tarp is it comes with all of the guy lines as well, so guy lines on every point. It's also got lots of other little points where you can hook things, clip onto that, put poles in different places. So just using one of my walking poles today to support the front. So really nice bit of kit, and the little tent sits really snugly inside this, just with the rear portion of the tent showing. So yeah, you could quite happily use this combination, but bearing in mind that even in a sale, the tent costs 5 times less than the tarp, and if you're paying full price for the tarp, you're looking at probably 10 times or much cost just to stick a thing on it. But yeah, just a little bit of fun to see what I could do with the 999 little tent just with the stuff I already have lying around the house. So if this kind of video is interesting to you, drop it a like and sub to the channel, because I will be using the tarp again soon. Hopefully I've bought a bug bivvy that will go with it, hopefully, and get that set up. And I'll experiment with various different things, I'm sure, with the various random tents I've got. Anyway, I'm going to stop rattling on now because it's only going to be a short video, and I'll catch you in the next one.